Welcome to Kat Yaps, a podcast about books, TV shows, movies, and the changes of having thoughts about literally anything else. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Kat Yaps. In today's video, I'm going to switch it up a bit with a thriller. It's called Creep, Jennifer Hillier. Alright, so let's get into it. And yes, there are spoilers. So the story starts with Sheila. She's a psychology professor who already doing shit. She's been messing around with her teacher's assistant for a couple of months. Mind you, it seems rather hot, but she got a whole man at home. Sheila decides she's going to break it off with Ethan because her man proposed to her. Apparently Ethan can't take change too well, so she has to ease him into it. Ethan surprisingly takes the news well until she tells him they can't work together anymore, and then your boy loses his shit. Now, in his defense, he's almost finished with his thesis, and that's a couple more months until he's done with college, so her trying to change him to a new teacher doesn't make sense. Anyway, Ethan tells her that if she doesn't want her ass on the internet, she will do no such thing. Apparently, he has a sex tape of them too. Sheila thinks he's bluffing, but Ethan doesn't appear to be. On top of the blackmail, one of Sheila's students, who's been missing for a week, was found murdered. Now, Ethan and Morris, her fiancé, meet in her office, and Ethan being petty with her to the point Morris starts to pick up a vibe. But Sheila plays it off. Later, Sheila is meeting with Morris for dinner. While waiting, she starts fantasizing about this handsome bartender making her drinks. Now, Sheila is a sex addict. Apparently, she was married before, and her husband of 10 years cheated on her with a man. So yeah, sis gone back wild after that, sleeping with people off the internet, wherever she was, in a car, outside the club, till eventually one of her sexual encounters left her alone in a car with no memory of how she got there. After that, she got herself clean. Now, Morris does not know that she is a sex addict, nor is she going to tell him. Nor is she going to tell him that she slept with her TA, but she's riddled with guilt, though. So now Ethan out here putting on a blonde wig and a fake contacts and altering his face to go scope out Morris at his job because Ethan is crazy. And he wants to know why Sheila doesn't want him. And if she doesn't want him, he'll have to kill her. Your boy say, just give me a reason. So obviously, he killed like, yeah, y'all already know he did it. Anyway, Morris greets Ethan. Ethan is cosplaying as Tim Young, having a meeting with Morris for a job that recently opened up at Morris' company. Ethan gets a little intimidated because everyone does what Morris asks and respects Morris. He's a successful investment banker. They start the interview, Ethan running game on Morris, and Morris, so far, his character comes off very loving and caring and loud because he's from Texas and letting this nigga con him. Ethan is truly diabolical because he got this interview by pretending to be Morris' estranged son, Randall, sending him email asking him to interview Tom, who is supposed to be Randall's best friend. Ethan has his story down pack, okay? Poor Morris is eating this shit up. Ethan plays to Morris' weakness for the lost connection with his son. Morris is trying to get that back, which turns into Ethan and him having dinner to discuss how he can do that. Morris spills all him and Sheila tea, telling Ethan they are waiting for sex until marriage. Now your boy thinking, oh, she wouldn't fuck me, so I must be better, right? Moving on, Sheila's still dealing with her guilt and wants to confess for being a punk. So instead, she tells Morris she's ready to have sex, which is a surprise for him, but he ain't turning down no pum-pum. She wanted one who last hoorah with him because she knew that he's going to leave her ass the minute she tell him that she slept with Ethan. They doing the thing, right? But your boy penis ain't getting hard. And I mean, Sheila putting the work in. Morris eventually tells her he doesn't know this Sheila, the one who knows how to do all the sexual stuff. He's upset. See, when they first started hanging out, Sheila made it seem like she was a born-again virgin. So all these tricks is doing now have Morris looking at her sideways. Meanwhile, Ethan's still out here stalking Sheila and being a perv. He's working on his thesis paper and he goes to this food kitchen with his girlfriend Abby. Apparently, Ethan adores her and they've been together for a while. He interviews the homeless people there for his thesis paper. Anyway, there's one particular person that he's interviewing now, a drug addict who he pays to interview and do other small favors. And when I mean other small favors, I mean sexual favors because he's a perv. They meet up and it seems like Ethan's planning to kill her by the way he's asking if anyone knows where she is, which her family doesn't. This excites him. Your boy continues to be a menace to Sheila, making her do all his work, which she hired him to do in the first place. But he wasn't bluffing when he said he had that picture because he sent it to her. But Sheila doesn't know that it's photo edit. It isn't real, but oh well. I don't feel bad for Sheila right now. Like at this particular moment, I don't. Ethan has been stalking Sheila and ended up following her to a church. He's trying to figure why she's there. He goes into the building and finds out that she's going to a Sex Addicts Anonymous. Ethan is filled with glee by this. Ethan and I be vibing now because instead of him being at the soup kitchen to help her, your boy out here stalking sis. Also, he killed that woman. The one in alley, the one he was interviewing, the drug addict. Okay. Now Sheila and Morris ain't been talking after their fight, and he gone ghost and didn't tell her where he went. He finally shows back up, and Sheila, after talking to her therapist, who's suggesting she goes to a rehab because she clearly needs some more help, also encourages her to man up and tell Morris the truth, which she does, and Morris goes off on her. He can't understand why someone as intelligent as her would keep this from him, and he doesn't want to be in a relationship with her anymore. Sheila breaks down in tears and begs him not to do this. Morris, the teddy bear that he is, says that they can talk about it when he gets back from his business trip, whether they can work this out or not, which relieves her. Then over here now, the master of disguise, he got a walk-in closet full of masks and a bunch of psycho shit. He turns himself into a whole different person and goes to Sheila's sex addict anonymous meeting. Sheila doesn't notice him and finds him attractive, and of course she does. That was Ethan's move to make her want him. They talk briefly at the meeting and end up meeting up again because Sheila has a mushroom and Swiss burger every time she goes to one of her meetings as a reward for going. As you should treat yourself. Anyway, Ethan disguised as James goes up to her and they end up talking, and the lady serving them keep forgetting to refill Sheila's drink because she's too thirsty for Ethan. Anyway, Sheila went to the bathroom, and when she comes back, her drink was filled. You would think Sheila, being a psychologist, would think about leaving her drink unattended. And for that, Ethan drugs her ass and kidnaps her. I did not point out, up until this point, there were interactions with her and Ethan that seemed off. So you would think Sheila would be like, you know what, maybe I should be more aware of things and, observant. Because it was an encounter where her and Morris went to get him fitted for a suit. And she literally saw a car pass that looked like Ethan on. It wasn't a car, it was a bike. And she's like, oh, that might have been him. Like, bitch, what are you doing? Moving on, Sheila wakes up to find herself in some kind of basement, and Ethan, still dressed as James, revealed himself to her, and she realizes she's chained up, and James takes off the mask, and he's revealed to be Ethan. Sheila, still heavily drugged, vomits on him at this reveal. It's been a couple of days now since Ethan's kidnapped her, and Sheila questions how it's gotten this far. Anyway, her therapist and her discussed that Ethan was an antisocial psychopath, not a murderer and kidnapper. And this is another thing. She went to her therapist. She talked about her therapist. And you think her therapist might say, you know what? Hey, maybe you should say something anyway. Ethan is hot and cold with her. One minute he'll talk to her, and then the next he's distant with her. And he brings up Morris a few times. And Sheila asks him if all this was because he was jealous. Ethan says, no, I'll show you what all this is for. Anyway, so he's about to take her into another room. Mind you, Sheila's been drugged up and tied up all this time she's been with Ethan. But I guess she persuaded him to let her use the restroom. So he took off the chains and let her use the restroom because he had her pee in diapers. Anyway, so they get up to the room that Ethan wanted to see. Now the room is straight up from Dexter. Just think about Dexter. And that's how the room is set up. Just add body parts all over it, like dead limbs and blood all over it, just cemented in there, and like, when something just sticks into something and it stays there? Yeah, think about that. Anyway, Ethan says it wasn't jealousy that caused that. It was rage. And then Sheila realizes that, oh, this nigga actually for real. Like, you think? I think it actually clicked her that, oh, she could possibly die now. He actually is crazy because she hasn't seen him done anything like harmful. Like, yeah, he drug and chain up, but he didn't like, show him his true self until just now. Like, now she knows he's a killer. Like, she's in danger. Anyway, then Ethan goes to strangle her and she screams, and then it goes black. Poor Morris starts drinking again, but he wants to forgive Sheila because he once was an alcoholic, so he knows what it is to be an addict, and he wants to give Sheila a second chance. Morris and Sheila's supposed to meet up for last minute wedding stuff because while all this going on, they're supposed to be getting married, remember? Now Sheila ain't show up, and Morris trying to figure out where she is. Eventually, he listens to his home voicemail, and it's a message from Sheila saying that she can't do this anymore. She cancels the wedding. She's going to rehab. And she tells him to move on with his life. Morris is devastated by this news. Ethan, while also having Sheila kidnapped, got to stay with his "I'm a saint and I help others" act. So he's at the soup kitchen again, and this time Abby's not there. And he's flirting with this newly young homeless girl. He's already plotting her demise because on top of everything, he can't help himself. Anyway, while he's there, he starts to think about his horrid past. I guess about his mom locking him in her bedroom closet with a peephole and leaving him in there for hours because sometimes she forgets he's there. That stuff was like, ooh. Anyway, Morris is worried about Sheila. Now, after the voice message, he can't shake the feeling that something is wrong. He goes to her neighbor because he doesn't have a key to get into Sheila's place. And once he gets into Sheila's place, he notices that the goldfish that he brought her on their first date is dead. And that place doesn't look like a place that someone who would leave willingly. And Sheila also is a clean freak, and it doesn't look, the way it looks something isn't right. So this prompts him to call the police. The police isn't much help because they're like, she called you, so, she told you she was leaving, so it's not really a kidnapping. But they still question him thoroughly still, though. So the police didn't take long to get back to Morris and told him they aren't going to further look into this case because home gotta leave you. They move on with your life. Stuff like this happen all the time. The police at least gave a number to a PI for Morris. Morris meets with the PI who knows Sheila because back in the day he took her classes and he found Sheila to be an excellent teacher. So now the PI, Jerry's more interested to help him after he explains the reason he's there. Sheila at this point is trying to manipulate Ethan to getting her to use the bathroom because after all that, he still didn't let her. But he finally caved and she shut herself right up. Ethan, being a germaphobe, was disgusted by this. And Sheila was like, nigga, this would make you screw up your face? Not the dead bodies? Anyway, after she exploded the toilet, she persuades him to let her have a shower, telling him she didn't know he liked her like that and that she was only with Morris because she's older and wanted to have kids. And Morris would give her that. She tried to make Ethan believe they have a chance. Ethan lets her out the shower. Morris down bad. He's dreaming about happier times with him and Sheila. He's interrupted by a banging on the door. When he opens it, in his drunken state, he realizes his oldest son, Randall, is there at the door. They start to talk, and it isn't as awkward as Morris thought it would be. Randall does not chastise Morris for falling off the wagon. He wishes he came sooner and tells Morris Sheila was the one who was reaching out to him, and he'll be in town for a while. Morris asks him about Tim not showing up at the interview, and Randall tells him he doesn't know who that person is. But this newfound information from Randall, Morris meets up with Jerry, but he doesn't tell him about Tim. Morris gave Jerry Sheila's computer to hack, and Jerry found out about Sheila's sex problem and figured out that Ethan was who she was having an affair with. This leads them to her sex addict anonymous group, which leads them to the diner where she ate the night Ethan drugged her. The waitress tells them that she was there with a guy, the same guy from the meeting. Okay, so now we finally getting somewhere. 2 plus 2 is 4 now. Okay. Jerry tells Morris he's going to the school to talk to Ethan because he looked at the messages between Ethan and Sheila and it suggests a sexual nature. Jerry goes to the school to confront Ethan. Jerry tells Ethan he's a private investigator looking into the disappearance of Sheila. Ethan and Jerry goes back and forth. And Jerry just comes out with it and asks him, Ethan, if he's been fucking Sheila, which Ethan denies. They get interrupted by a student and Jerry leaves. But he later meets up with one of the detectives assigned to Sheila's parents, Torrance. Jerry can't shake the feeling something's off with Ethan and asks Torrance to run a check on Ethan. Torrance is hesitant for a moment but says he'll do it. Sheila and Ethan are kind of cool now. He lets her use the bathroom and shower, and she isn't in chains anymore. He's even bought her new clothes and underwear. It's almost as if she ain't kidnapped, and this nigga ain't an actual murderer and a psychopath. Anyway, they're watching Pretty Woman together after Ethan brought her a full line of skincare and a sub. Now Sheila confused because has he changed his mind about killing her? I don't think so. But she uses her to her advantage. All she can think about if she stays in his good graces, maybe she could survive this. Ethan falls asleep during the movie, and Sheila has to bribe there to try and get the gun from Ethan, which of course she doesn't because he wakes up. I don't know if I mentioned he had a gun, but he has a gun and a knife. Anyway, she tried to play it off by stripping down to nothing, which gets Ethan distracted, and she straddles him and kisses him all over, as she uses one hand to reach the gun and the next to jerk him off. Ethan gets pussy-matized, dick-matized, pussy-matized, or so I think. Tells Sheila he loves her, But then he realizes what she's doing, grabs her wrist hard. I mean, Ethan has to be a fool to think that she'll love you or want to be with you. Like, nigga, you had this guy kidnapped and you drugged her and she's traumatized. What are we talking about? Morris isn't giving up the need to know what happened to her, even though Jerry thinks he should, or at least be prepared if he does find her. Jerry, although suspicious, he still believes Sheila's just left willingly. Sheila Job called Morris to come down and collect Sheila things out of office because they needed the space for her replacement. Along with the fake call to Morris, Ethan made her call her job. I mentioned that already. And let them know that she would be taking an indefinite leave. So obviously, they had to replace her. Respect for Morris allowed him to come to collect her things. The school knew about the broken off engagement too, and a rumor was going around about Sheila being a sex addict, so there's that. Morris collects her items and wants to go look for Ethan. He gets that information for where Ethan could be and comes face to face with him. Now, Ethan has this thing with closed spaces because remember his mommy kept him in the closet. So when Morris goes to close the door, he's pitch up fast and tell him that straight, let it stay open. Morris has a weird feeling as to why Ethan wants the door to be left open, but he can't pinpoint why. Morris starts with pleasantries but quickly gets irritated with Ethan and wants to hurt him because he knows he slept with Sheila. They get interrupted by the same admin who helped Morris earlier, and Ethan steps out. Morris is pissed and starts to play with the bobblehead on the desk and it eventually breaks. There's something that falls out of it, and when Morris picks it up, and it's one of his cufflinks that Sheila brought him. It went missing a while back. When Ethan was cosplaying as Tim Young, he stole it off Morris. Anyway, Morris starts piecing shit together and realizes that Tim Young had a problem with the door being closed during his interview. And he kind of looked like Ethan too, along with his mannerisms. And Morris figures out that Ethan is Tim Young, and he immediately leaves the office and calls Jerry. Now, Jerry tells him about his ass because why would you confront the guy? But Morris ain't hearing that. He found legit evidence with the cufflinks and him being Tim Young. Jerry also was able to find out about Ethan's mom dying in a fire. So with all that, it made sense to start following him, and this leads them on a wild chase with Ethan as he's riding on his motorcycle. Ethan figured out that they are following and decides since they want to follow him, he'd lead them to his kill room. At least Jerry had some sense to call Torrance, his detective friend, for backup, just in case something gets out of hand, because Morris was adamant he was going to see if Sheila was there or not. Morris starts banging on the door, waking up all of the neighbors, and luckily the security guard where Ethan lives respects that Jerry used to be a cop. That's how they even got past the gate. Tell them kind of they need to leave. Jerry and Morris was going at it from then to leave, but Morris didn't. Morris punched Jerry, and that shocked Morris out of all that rage, and they left. Jerry tells him, for now, I'll do the job. You're paying me by myself, and to sit small. I didn't mention that the same security guard who helped them have footage of Sheila in the car with James and in the same community that Ethan lives in. This is where Jerry was like, something ain't right, and Morris and him make a connection between Sheila, therapist Dr. Chang, might know something about Ethan that can help. And when Morris gives him the therapist's name, he realizes it's his wife, Anna. She is Sheila's therapist. Jerry goes home and gets Anna to break up patient confidentiality because Anna wasn't just Sheila's therapist, they were friends. Sheila tells Jerry that Sheila wanted nothing. tells Jerry that Sheila wanted nothing to do with Ethan anymore. She hated him for what he'd done to her by trying to blackmail her. Torrance might actually get on board about reopening Sheila's case after all the evidence Morris and Jerry found. Torrance and his partner question Ethan's girlfriend Abby, asking her if Ethan has been acting strange lately after the news of Sheila's disappearance. Abby confesses she knows Ethan and Sheila was having an affair. She caught them once but kept it to herself. On top of all that, she shows them Sheila's engagement ring that Ethan took when he kidnapped Sheila. And remember summer girl who you already know he killed? She proceeds to show them a gold medal from the same girl. Abby said she didn't come in soon because she loves him and didn't want to believe it. So now Ethan is done with the games with Sheila. He's about to kill her. He over it. But before he does, he wants to finish his story about his first time. Sheila thinking now he means his first time killing someone, but Ethan means his first time having sex with this girl from his high school. It is there that we figure out he likes to harm people. When he starts choking her while they're having sex, he gets so into it that he thinks that he kills her. But did he feel bad about that? No, his dick got hard. And then he came in out. But comes to find out she actually isn't dead. And comes to find out if the girl is Abby. And she's the one who started this whole thing. She's the one who kills the people and Ethan just lures them in. Now Ethan slips up and tells Sheila that Morris is looking for her. Ethan asked Sheila believing that Morris was dead. But Sheila's relieved that Morris isn't and accepts her fate and accepts that she's about to die. She kneels before Ethan as he's about to shoot her, but Morris breaks and kills Ethan. Sheila wakes up at the hospital. The nightmare she was in is not over. People come in and out, and Sheila wonders about Morris because she hasn't seen him yet. Morris finally comes along with Randall, and Sheila is happy to see them together. Morris gives Sheila back the engagement ring, and now they have a lot to work on. I mean, obviously, right? But he wants to, and Sheila gladly accepts. The ending, Sheila later on goes to a rehab facility, and Morris is about to visit her for the visitor's day. She waits outside for him, and one of the other patients there gave her a letter. She reads it, and it's from Abby, telling her she knows where she is. They never found Abby. Okay, guys, what did you think? For one, me personally, you done cheat on me, and then I have to go look for you because your side piece, psychotic ex, whatever he is to you, when kidnap you, and you putting my life in danger. And maybe I would say it's a light thriller. Like if you want to step into something in a thriller, it doesn't have on-screen kills and it isn't gruesome. If you want to touch your toes in a thriller, this would definitely be a good recommendation, I would say. But anyway, guys, I say anyway a lot. It's not going to be my tagline anyway. I think it is. How are you liking the podcast so far? I'm trying to figure out if I should do shorter videos or longer videos. You let me know in the comments. Let me know some suggestions. What should I read again? What should I read? What should I comment on? What should I talk about? Let me know in the comments. If you've been liking the podcast so far, make sure you like and subscribe. And until next time.